and welcome to episode 30 of Life in General. My name is Nick.
I'm Ian.
And as always, you can email us any questions or comments to lifeingeneralmi@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter under at LIGpod. You can get the show on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher. We are actually on TuneIn also. TuneIn Radio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I had the feed wasn't working correctly, so I had to email TuneIn last week to try to get them to fix that. They're a bunch of chuckleheads.
I'm not even familiar with TuneIn.
It's just an internet radio site.
Oh, okay. Is it similar to like Podbean and all that? Or is it more like streaming?
It's more like streaming.
Oh, okay. I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a listen.
Yeah,
I like to support all the places that we're on, Yeah.
So. But
except SoundCloud, I just don't bother with that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with SoundCloud. They're still around, but I haven't.
Yeah.
I think our subscription's up with them. So
yeah, I'm sure it is. So, but anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt your house cleaning.
I think my
got it all out?
My house cleaning I think is done.
Okay, cool.
Housekeeping is what it is.
Whatever.
House cleaning. I'm not maid.
Housekeeping, you're maid either way. Cleaning, it's all the same.
I guess so.
You're
what you're saying is I'm the bitch of the show. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm the bitch of the show. No, I'm the bitch of the show.
So hey, we made our 30 episodes.
Yeah, a couple more, and we'll have a midlife crisis for the show. I'm sure.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I didn't really have a topic. We actually originally we were going to talk about. What were we going to talk about?
The State of the Union, but I was off on the date.
Yeah, Ian was thinking it was last week. It's actually next week, so we don't have a topic.
Well, we don't need one. There's many topics.
There's
things to talk about.
There is a couple of things I did want to talk about. Yeah. And it seems like there's some stuff that's going on in our country that's not really, some of it's being talked about, but it doesn't really seem like it's getting the media attention that I think it should.
Right.
And the first one off the top of my head is this whole thing with Larry Nassar. I don't know if you've been following any of this.
Just a wee bit. I mean, I watched the judge's ruling.
Oh, did you? Yeah. I didn't watch it.
It was on YouTube.
Was it?
I thought it was for considering the crimes he's been convicted of, she was right. I mean, I can't say if it's fair. I'm not a judge.
Some people were saying that it was almost like she was acting too much for the cameras.
She might have been, but I think considering what he did, I think she was taking pride in the fact that she was essentially sentencing him to death.
Yeah.
Life in prison. Because he will die in prison.
No, yeah, I mean, he was sentenced up to 175 years in prison. So,
and like I said, given the situation and her authority, I didn't have any problem with what she did. Maybe she was. I don't know what she's like when she's not on camera. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I always kind of look back at like the the Judge Ito kind of stuff,
right?
That happened under the OJ trial.
That was a circus.
Yeah, and it was what 94, I think.
I don't even fucking remember.
I think it was something like that. So yeah, the whole thing was a circus. But so yes, you're right. This has been getting some kind of some media coverage, but
very little though. I mean, that only because of the sentencing, and I think maybe because of how forceful her judgment was when she sentenced him.
Yeah,
got a little bit of fanfare, but you can turn on any news network and you'll hear about Robert Mueller for 5 hours, and then you'll hear about that for like 2 minutes.
Well, and that was kind of the thing that caught my attention was because I don't know if you paid attention to any of the stuff that happened with Penn State.
I'm aware of it. I didn't follow
with
it
the whole Jerry Sandusky thing. It was a media circus. I mean, it was everywhere. It was every time you turn on the TV, any cable news or regular news station, it's all they covered for weeks.
Right.
And this, it seems like it really didn't really hear it. Yeah, until the very end of the trial.
Right.
Till you get,
I had not heard about it.
Like wave after wave of these women come up there telling their very descriptive stories of what happened to them. That's when the media starts paying attention.
To your point, I didn't know about this until, like you said, a few weeks ago. And he's just being sentenced now.
Yeah.
So obviously the trial didn't last just a few weeks. This has been going on for months and months.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about it until a couple weeks ago in any media outlet that I was, at least I didn't catch it. So, I mean, if it was there, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
So.
They were, but it just wasn't covered. Like, I don't know. Is it?
Do you think it's Trump's America? I mean, seriously. I'm not saying that to be coy. I'm saying that because the news cycle is following so intently every little thing the Trump administration does.
No,
more
I
so
don't
than
think
what
so.
they did, say, during the Obama administration, when it was just kind of business as usual. They kind of followed his administration more like they did any other administration.
No, because the closest thing I have to compare it to is obviously the Jerry Sandusky thing,
right.
which
because that was during Obama's term, right?
Yeah, but is it simply just because football draws more eyes than women's gymnastics does? Women's gymnastics, for the vast majority of this country, people watch it once every 4 years for 2 weeks.
Right. I guess it's possible. You know sports better than I do, but and how it relates to popularity and monetization and everything else. And there's no money in gymnastics, definitely. And
Absolutely
very
not.
little money in female sports in general. But I think it could be a combination of everything. It could be that it is gymnastics and it's not a followed sport. It could be because it's young girls and not young boys.
Yeah.
It could be because the news cycle is dominated by Trump and the things that's
See,
going on.
but this has
with
been
that,
going on for longer than that.
even before the Trump administration started. Is what you're saying? Because I don't know.
Yes,
I didn't hear about it until a few weeks ago.
This all became public in 2016.
Okay, well, yeah, then I guess
So-
by that standard, you could eliminate the Trump situation.
And
To a degree.
that's kind of the thing that irritated me about this whole thing is there were instance after instance.
Mm-hmm.
Starting
Well, it was hundreds of girls, right?
starting in 97.
And girls as young as like 9 or 10.
Time and time again, where people spoke up and nothing was done about it.
Right.
There was the first one that I saw listed was this. I think she talked about it during the trial too. This lady by the name of Larissa Boyce, I think is how you say her. I'm gonna butcher names because I'm absolutely fucking terrible with names.
Yeah. I'm 50-50.
So in 97, she was 16 years old at the time. Told another coach.
minor.
So she told another coach that her and another 14-year-old gymnast were uncomfortable with the way that that Larry Nassar was touching them. Right. So the coach interrogates these two girls. Told the girls that they misunderstood what Nassar was doing, and made them fucking apologize to him
Nice.
at their next appointment.
Wow.
Yeah. So this gymnast, when she was giving her
Testimony?
Well, she didn't really testify, but it was when she was giving her statement at the end of the trial before sentencing.
First sentencing, yeah.
She said, "I told somebody instead of being protected, I was humiliated, and told that I was the problem." I mean,
Which is, women have been dealing with that for centuries.
yeah. Another one in 1999. A lot of these were MSU students because he was a
Right.
physician at MSU.
Right.
The MSU staff referred a runner, Christy Archenbach. I don't know how you say her name. I like saying a butcher it. Yeah. So she was referred to Nassar for an injured hamstring. A hamstring. Mm-hmm. All right. She was shocked when he rubbed her pelvic area and penetrated her with his fingers.
Which,
for a hamstring injury.
yeah.
She told her parents. She told her coach. And she reported it to the Detroit News. Nothing was ever done about it. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So he he raped her.
Yes.
Once penetration is involved, it's rape. I mean, arguably it could be rape before that too, but just that to me there's a distinction between assault and rape, and that's rape.
Yeah. But the coach that she reported it to told this girl, I don't remember how old she was at the time. I don't think it really said. But regardless, her age doesn't really matter.
No,
but
not at all.
Or the coach told her that Nassar was a respected doctor and she should trust him with what he's doing.
So he had pretty much complete freedom to do this for decades.
Yeah, at least the last 20 plus years. Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's. a year later in 2000, there was a freshman softball player at MSU, Tiffany Lopez, who was referred to Nassar for an injury. I don't remember what injury it said it was. Yeah. She told the embassy. She told NBC News, which is where I got this from, that she found the intravaginal treatments uncomfortable, and mentioned them to her trainer, who expressed shock, but they didn't do anything about it.
Right. What would that have to do with?
And the trainer fucking told her that he's a world-class or world-renowned doctor, and he treats elite athletes. Like that has anything to do with.
I don't understand why there would be intervaginal examinations for. Because
he said it relieved pressure when he stuck his fingers inside them. I'm sorry if this is really graphic for people listening to this. But,
well, and top subject matter is what it is, but. Any other professional hearing that, I mean, granted, I'm not a professional, but if you're a professional, you know that has nothing to do with sports-related injuries or treatment.
No.
So hearing that, you should a red light should go off.
Yeah. And it seems like it has to people, but no one did anything about it, or people brushed it under the rug.
Because he was so respected.
Yeah, because he was so respected. There, at the same time as the last girl, there was an MSU volleyball player who was horrified, obviously, with his treatment methods. But another trainer talked her out of pursuing charges against him. In 2004, I think this is one you were mentioning with age. Yeah. Kyle Stevens, who was 12 at the time in 2004, told her MSU psychologist that Nassar, who I guess was a family friend, had been molesting her since she was 6 years old.
And nothing was done.
No, the doctor didn't report the allegation to law enforcement or didn't say anything to the university. It said, I mean, which is it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. Well, the fact that the psychologist wouldn't take those claims seriously.
Well, yeah, and actually, instead of doing anything about it, the psychologist arranged a meeting with Nassar and her parents, where, of course, he denied any kind of abuse or anything like that.
Of course.
And her parents didn't even believe her. Her parents stuck up for Nassar. And she was the one that, once it all came out in 2016, her father committed suicide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because he didn't believe her.
Because he didn't believe her.
Well, that's unfortunate, but.
So it's starting in at least 97. It's time and time again where people have gone to, because that's the thing we always tell kids, is if somebody's hurting you, if someone's touching you, go and tell somebody.
Right.
Go and tell somebody. But it's time and time and time again. There's at least 8 of them that I read from NBC News. At least 8 times over the past 20 years that people have gone and said things to people and nothing fucking got done. The last one, it finally took until 2015. Maggie Nichols, who was she's a U.S. national gymnast. She was actually in the running to go to the 2016 Olympics. Was talking about Nassar's treatment methods to another gymnast, and a coach heard it and was horrified and reported it to the
Olympic Committee.
To USA Gymnastics, who oversee. Yeah.
So essentially, what that says is that once the Olympics side of it got wind of it, something was done. But Michigan State was not willing.
No,
to do
it still
anything.
wasn't good. Nothing still got done, and that's the problem.
Oh.
So USA Gymnastics, instead of going to law enforcement about it, they hired a private investigator to look into the matter for themselves.
Huh.
Yeah. So
what did that?
So that was 2015. It wasn't until 2016 that they contacted the FBI.
Huh.
About what was going on, and that was also the same time I believe it was the Detroit one of the Detroit newspapers broke a story on it.
Huh.
Which finally took him out of practicing.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, see, hearing all that, if you go back, because you can watch the judge's sentencing on YouTube now, I think.
Yeah.
You should watch it. Now hearing that, I really don't think she was playing it up. I think she was legitimately angry.
Yeah.
And giving a sentencing that she felt was as fair as she could be without, having him executed, I guess. I don't know. Because essentially that's what she said. She goes, I'm signing your death warrant. Essentially.
Is that what she said?
She said that. She specifically said that. because he's going to die, and she's putting him where he's going to die.
Yeah.
You know.
It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy to me. It's not like it was something that was really hidden.
No.
Because apparently at Michigan State, women, the female athletes referred to Nassar as the crotch doc.
So it's obvious that people know he was doing these things.
Yes.
Well, I know there's a huge investigation going on at Michigan State right now.
There is. And the president already lost her job, even though she got a big fat golden parachute when she left.
Of course. Well, because she won't say anything disparaging against the university.
No.
So, yeah. Well, hey, I mean, that's... I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. I mean, it is what it is. It's not. This isn't the first time this has happened. It won't be the last.
It won't be. But I mean, that's pretty damn big. But
it is big, yeah.
On Friday, I think it was, the Olympic Committee gave the USA Gymnastics Board 6 days for all of them to resign.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they were aware of it too.
Yep.
Okay. What does that do for the gymnastics teams come 2020?
I don't know. I'm not really sure as far as competition goes.
Right.
Obviously, at this point, I think most people aren't really worried about that. They're worried about.
No, I was just a thought that popped into my head. But it's like
the people that let him be a sexual predator for
decades.
They needed to be gone.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's the thing:
I think every single one of those people that
should be in prison.
Everyone that was told that didn't do anything about it, they should be in jail also.
I agree because it's complicity without action or something. There's a term for that. It's I forgot what it is, but it's well, I guess it could even boil down to neglect. You could argue neglect, but knowing a crime is being committed and doing nothing about it is a crime of itself.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's as someone that has an 11-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, it just.
Well, I mean, we all have sisters, we have daughters, we have mothers, and it's kind of just another thing that's been coming out now with the Hollywood scandals and everything else, and hopefully this is the death knell for it, but it just makes you worry,
Yeah, I saw today, I think it was, that I don't know, I think it was like the head financial guy for the RNC had to resign also.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know there was another
sexual
Democrat had to resign for something too, for sexual something. I don't know.
And that's funny because that's the thing is it affects both sides.
It's not a party issue.
No, it's not.
They make it one, but it's not a party issue.
And that's why my grandfather said several times that I can remember that there would be a black president before there would be a woman president.
Yeah.
Because there are sexists on both sides of the aisle.
Right. Well, I'd say there's probably racists on both sides of the aisle.
There are.
It's easier to be a sexist even in this day and age than it is a racist, which it shouldn't be easy to be either one, but I mean that's just the natural.
Well, yeah, I mean because it's I've been in lots of situations where people have said disgustingly vile things about women.
Yeah.
In every walk of life, in professional settings.
Mm-hmm. Well, that I'd say that even transcends race, because but yeah, scary stuff. I'm glad he's going to rot in prison. I mean, that's some comfort, but it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't make a difference for the victims.
Yeah,
at least they have some closure, but it doesn't take away their pain and their suffering that they've had. So
yeah.
I think they should sue the university. Are any of them going to?
I don't know. I'm sure there will be.
I'm sure. Yeah, there's probably going to be lawsuits.
I'm sure there will be.
I think there should be civil suits too, not just suits against the university, but suits against individuals, because they won't go to jail for what they did. But I think you could argue that.
Yeah, but civil suits against individuals aren't
easy. I know.
Well, that and they don't typically do a whole lot of anything.
Right.
Because if I were to sue you,
what would you get?
Well, that and all you got to do is file bankruptcy.
Right.
I mean,
you just said the president got a golden parachute. Sue for that.
Yeah.
But
the Goldman family has been waiting for their payment from O.J. Simpson for
they're
20 years.
They're never going to get that because he's broke.
But he's not.
Well, for rich people, he's broke.
Well, it's actually kind of funny. So I don't know if you remember this or not, but when O.J. was in prison, he wrote a book titled something about
if I did it.
Yeah, if I did it.
Yeah.
And the Goldman family actually got the rights to that book because of their settlement.
Uh-huh.
So they changed the name to something like I Did It.
And this is how I did it?
Yeah. And released it like that.
Did they? I must not have sold her. Well, I didn't hear about that. I heard about that book when he was writing it, but I don't remember that.
Like, why would you write a book like that? Unless you actually murdered somebody and wanted to tell your story.
Right. Take credit when you could, because he can't be retried for it, right? He was acquitted?
No, he was acquitted, so yeah.
So he could theoretically say, you know what, yeah, I did it.
So, so reading through all this stuff, and actually it made me even more pissed off reading all this, that it's not gotten the
media attention
that it should have. Yeah. This should be something that every single channel you turn it on, this is what they're talking about.
Well, I mean, you hear this, and then you think about what happened just, like, say, 6-8 months ago with Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein
was it that long ago?
Yeah, it's been 6 months at least. He's been on I think October. So yeah, it's been almost 6 months. That was all over the news for days.
It was.
Days and days and days. And I hadn't heard of this. I didn't hear about this until the sentencing.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something wrong, something going that shouldn't be going on.
And that's why I said, is it because is it a media issue basically?
This is because it's the media that decides how to cover it and how often to cover it and for how long to cover it. So it is a media thing.
Yeah.
For whatever their motivations for not covering it, it's down to them.
Yeah.
So.
And like you said, you turn on Fox News or MSNBC or CNN or any of those cable news stations.
CNN maybe would have covered some of it, but they didn't.
I mean, now granted, I don't watch a lot of cable news or hardly any, but
I do. But
what I have seen in flipping through, I haven't seen any of it.
Well, and when I do, I bounce back and forth between Fox and MSNBC just to be
fair and balanced,
as fair and balanced as I can be.
Well, I said that because that's Fox's tagline.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it has been for a long time.
I never noticed.
Fair and balanced.
I have a hard time staying on Fox News for very long. But all they're talking about is, Russia's a problem. The president may have been involved. Russia's not a problem. It's Democrats. That's all they're talking about.
And then
that's all there is on either side.
That and the shutdown.
Yeah. Which shutdowns happen all the time. There wasn't anything new or big about this, and it's going to happen again in 2 weeks.
Probably.
So I don't even care. And they're just gonna be blame the blame game, and
yeah, that's all they do is play the blame game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so
over it.
Sick and fucking tired of politics in the United States. Is ridiculous.
I know, me too.
So the other thing that kind of caught my attention.
This is another situation where the media is not.
Yeah. So, and did you even hear about this at all? So there was a shooting in Kentucky.
I said, it was ago. I didn't hear any talk about it. It was on the ticker on MSNBC.
Yeah.
That was it. The school shooting.
So 2 15-year-old kids were killed.
18, I think, were wounded.
And see, that's the thing. Depending on reports, because I've seen there were 12 injured, and I've seen up to 16 injured.
See, I actually saw 18 at one point.
Well, because they're probably counting in the 2 that were killed.
Well, it was worded 2 killed, 18 wounded.
Oh, well, 12 to 18 then I'll say.
Yeah,
so he walked
12 to 18 more than it should have been.
Yeah, he walked in with I think he had a
handgun,
a pistol, and opened fire. But the thing is, it's like, so that got some media. I got an alert on my phone when it happened.
I think I saw a blurb on Facebook and then just the ticker on MSNBC. That was it.
Yeah, but that was the 11th school shooting
this year. And we're not even a month in.
No. And actually, that was the 3rd school shooting last week.
And I didn't even know about the other 2.
No. So there was one just outside of Dallas where a teenage girl was shot, but she survived.
Okay.
And they apprehended the kid that shot her.
Right.
The other one was just outside New Orleans, where a woman was shot in the parking lot of a charter school. I'm not really sure what the situation was around that.
Right.
But before that, there was a school shooting on a bus in Iowa. There was a shooting on a college in Southern California. There was a shooting in a high school in Seattle. So I mean, it just and that's all since just January. I haven't heard about any of that.
Nope.
So are we at a point now where this is just? Are we just numb to it?
Well, it's either that or it's all about volume, meaning. Sorry, I didn't hit the mic. Meaning one person getting shot on a bus, one person getting shot in a parking lot, one girl getting shot and surviving isn't newsworthy. We had 2 deaths and a lot of people wounded.
Yeah.
So now it's about volume. That's the only thing I can figure because we heard about Kentucky, even if it was minimal, we still heard about it.
Yeah.
Didn't hear about any of those other ones, but it's all about volume. Look at the number of people hurt and wounded and killed.
I don't know.
And if that's the case, it's just as bad as numbness to it because now it's about body count.
Yeah.
And for whatever it's worth, I can't see that. If that's what it takes to get noticed, people are going to go for body count.
It's terrible.
Oh man, if I only shoot one person, even though I don't want to shoot that person.
Well, see, that's
now I got to shoot 30 people just so people know that who I am or whatever, and for whatever reason.
Does stopping copycat attackers play somewhat into it? Because I have seen because I did see on several websites when I was looking up the Kentucky shooting, where a lot of the websites wouldn't even mention the kid's name.
Right. Well, that's fine, and that goes back because of that, because they're not getting the publicity, the name recognition. That deters copycats. But the problem is if you're not aware that there's a problem, how are you going to fix it? We rely on the Fourth Estate, right? The Fourth Estate.
Something like that. Whatever you want to call it.
We rely on the
fourth part of the government.
Then we rely on the news and journalists to keep us all informed, so we're aware of these problems, and we can all, as a community, as a country, work to find solutions to these problems. And if we're not hearing about it, because we're hearing about sex scandals in Hollywood and whether or not our president is a Russian puppet constantly, and we're not hearing about these real problems, those problems are never going to get fixed.
Yeah.
Ever.
So what do we do about it?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a genius. And not that it takes a genius to figure it out, but, I don't know. I don't know what to do about it.
I don't know. Is this just our new normal? Is this something we're just going to have to live with?
Honestly, it very well could be. It very well could be. If you're talking 11 gun-related incidents in schools across the country in the first 28 days of the year, it's the new normal.
See, 'cause that's the thing, is for the past, I don't know, 5 to 6 years, we've been averaging a school shooting every other week.
Okay.
That
alone
January
kind of.
No,
I've never heard.
Yeah, I have heard that before.
Okay, so
but January blew that out of the water.
Yeah, it's a new normal. Is essentially what that means, and it's not even a new normal that's going to be normal for long, because everything has to escalate. If we're not doing anything about it now, it's not going to change until we do something about it, and we're obviously not going to do something about it until it hits a fever pitch, like a massive, where there's like a school shooting every day, and ironically, these aren't inner city schools. So I guess at the very least, we're not ignoring them because they're minority areas.
Yeah, that's true.
But they're still being ignored, So I guess it's progress of a kind.
I don't know. I just don't know.
As sick as that is.
I just don't understand how the dumbest, most mundane shit gets on the news. Yeah. But stuff like this.
You know what? I bet you I know what it would take. If there's a mass shooting at Yale or Harvard, I think maybe they'll start taking it seriously. Don't you?
Because that's where their kids go?
That's where their kids go. That's where all the rich people are. When the rich people start having to suffer from it, then shit starts getting done.
Yeah.
I'll bet you if something like that were to happen at Yale, Harvard, or any of those other Ivy League schools, I guarantee you, it'll only take one time, and then shit will start getting done about it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like nothing happens in our society until the middle of the country starts feeling it.
Well, obviously no, because the middle of the country is feeling it now.
No, I'm just saying other things, not...
I think we've gotten to the point where nothing's going to get done until rich white people start feeling it. Rich white people. Because white people, poor, doesn't matter. Poor is poor.
I don't know. There was someone opened fire on Congress, last year? During the baseball game?
Yeah.
Well, it was baseball practice. They didn't do anything about it then.
That's true. Well, they talked. They talked about gun control for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So...
But they didn't talk about anything that was going to do anything.
No, but did anybody die? I don't think anybody died.
No.
Yeah, that's why. They didn't die. Kill a few of the rich white people, then maybe someone will take it seriously.
And anyone listening,
I'm not condoning that.
We're
not advocating for the murder of rich people. I'm just saying, historically speaking, rich people will make a difference if it starts to affect them. That's all.
Well, I mean, it's how our country was born.
True. True.
And
it's been downhill ever since.
The Boston Tea Party came about because
of economic issues, taxes.
Tea growers in the United States, in the
colonies,
when the colonies were being pushed out by the East India Company.
Yeah. Which was a British-owned company.
Yeah.
Well, Crown-owned company, we'll say. Because they were British already.
So, yeah, you're right. The rich people felt it then.
Yeah.
So they rebelled.
Yeah. So that's what it takes. You got to start. It's. They've said it forever. If you want to hurt somebody, go after their money, or
hit them where they'll feel it.
Exactly. And the economic inequality that exists in the world and in this country has become so great.
And it's
nothing's going to get done unless rich people do anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, take Hollywood for example. It took almost all of the women in Hollywood to do the Me Too thing to get any kind of change done.
Yeah.
But that shit happens everywhere, and it's still happening everywhere. It's not just in Hollywood. It happens in universities. It happens in office buildings. It happens all over.
It probably happened. It probably happened to your waitress from last weekend, also.
It very well could have. So the thing is nobody was talking about that, and no one really is still talking about that. No. But as soon as it's happening to Ashley Judd and Gwyneth Paltrow, oh my God, we got to change everything.
Yeah,
and I don't want to discredit them because they were affected, but as a society, don't do anything until they do something.
Yeah.
So if we have to rely on the rich white people to do shit, then that's what it's going to take. Nothing's going to get done. I can guarantee you this: if you get a bunch of people marching down the street with weapons targeting Congress, I guarantee you gun control will start happening.
Yeah. I don't know.
Legitimately, we're taking over Congress. Oh, we need gun control.
If they storm the doors of the Capitol, then
then they'll be like, we need gun control. The citizens can't be trusted with guns. That's what it takes, and it's sad because that's not majority rule. That's not moral rule. It's rule that only affects 1% of the population. And the rest of us have to suffer until they feel
we live by their decisions.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you noticed, I might be a little anti-rich, but just saying. I still do not advocate. I repeat, do not advocate for the murder of anybody, except for maybe Nassar, but he'll get his in prison.
I don't know.
He was diddling little children. Unless they put him in isolation, he's going to get.
He probably will be in isolation, but a lot of that gets overblown. There's not a whole lot of honor among thieves. There really isn't.
I think when it comes to children, there is.
Oh man,
I really do. I think that's kind of a universal thing. And granted, I'm just basing that on what I've heard, but you hope.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like a universal thing. You want to hope that even in places like prisons, where they're the least of our kind, the least of humanity, still have some humanity,
Yeah, I don't know, but he'll be in isolation. I'm sure he'll.
And hey, if he's gonna rot in prison, he'll die there. So that's again, we have to judge ourselves on how we treat the least of us.
Yeah.
So
they
excuse me.
That's a nice little religious thing there, you.
Hey, you don't need to look to religion for morality.
I don't know, I'm just poking at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll look at how long did it take him to get to Jeffrey Dahmer? I mean, it took years for somebody to kill him.
Yeah, and that I don't even know if that would be like an honor type killing. I think they just did it because maybe he said something. Because he didn't mess with children.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think so.
They weren't like little children, but they were like younger.
I thought everyone he messed with was 18 and older.
I didn't think he was. I don't know.
If it wasn't, then yeah, great.
I don't know, but yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath for.
Yeah, I mean,
for him to.
I shouldn't. It's wrong of anyone to wish death on anybody else anyway. So I typically don't. So
wish ill will on people.
No, ill will's fine. Death is different. Dead men don't learn from their mistakes. And he's going to spend he's going to spend the rest of his life, hopefully, knowing why he's there.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. That was kind of the only thing that caught my attention. Really.
Those are the darker things, I guess.
Do you got something more lighter for us to talk about?
Well, I guess there's a big court case going to be happening in California over the remains of Charles Manson.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because people want, I don't know,
because people want
his kin. They listed his kin in the article, but
as what? Satan and Lucifer and
his children, which arguably he has hundreds of, but he has a few that are confirmed children, and I guess they're all fighting over who gets to take the body. For whatever reason.
What the hell? What the hell's wrong with people?
I don't know. I just think it's funny because it's like he's emblematic of a time. I wouldn't want to go as far as to say he's iconic, but he is. He's a negative icon, but he's an icon, nevertheless. But
and to some people, he's an icon.
True. But it's like even in death, he's still that. People are still like talking about him, and he's dead.
And he hasn't been relevant. Relevant. That's what I meant.
No, I mean the crimes that he was convicted of are 49 years old almost.
Yeah.
I mean they're going to be 50 years old next year.
That's nuts.
It's the people that he was put in jail for murdering probably wouldn't even be alive anyway as it is. Sharon Tate would have been like in her mid-70s by now.
She probably would have been.
I mean, she could have been, but you never know.
She probably been part of the Me Too movement.
Well, her husband is in exile.
Yeah, he is.
Her or for whatever, her widow. I don't know how you
widower.
Yeah, I said widower.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Because they were married then, weren't they?
Yeah, they were married. Because they refer to her as his wife.
And he was touching little kids too, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he did that after she died, so maybe he wouldn't have done it if she hadn't died.
Yeah, because I'm sure that's exactly what pushed him over the edge.
Well, I'm not. You never know. I don't know what turns people into doing shit like that.
So I wonder why they're fighting over his body though. That's kind of.
Well, the article said how to lay him to rest. He's Charles Manson. Just fucking throw him in the ground. It doesn't matter. He's dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter. If he was anybody else, he would have just been thrown in.
But I'm surprised his kids are fighting over him.
Well, one of his kids actually runs a Charles Manson museum.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, it's not real big, but it's.
Well, I would hope not.
He runs a museum.
Where they got like pictures of the murdered bodies in there.
Pictures of Charles Manson. He sells books, sells T-shirts. It's not more. I guess it's more of a gift shop than a museum, really. But yeah,
was it out of his garage or something?
I don't know. No, it's a building. I think in California. I think it's in California. But yeah, and he's one of the confirmed children. Because arguably, like I said, Charles Manson has fathered probably hundreds of children.
Do you think so?
I think it's probably likely.
That's crazy. That's nuts, though.
I would say, if not hundreds, close to 100. Several dozen, we'll say.
Wow.
But there are confirmed children. One of them runs like I said, I guess it's more of a gift shop. I came across it on a YouTube video where they were talking to him, and was like 2 rooms. It wasn't huge, but it was just pictures. And he, like I said, he sold little trinkets and shirts, and basically he's making a buck off of off of having that bloodline for whatever it's worth.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, hey, whatever. I don't need to buy any of it to, he can do whatever he wants. But and he might even, I don't know if he's one of the ones who are involved in the lawsuit, but I think it's like 3 or 4 different kin. They put it in the article, trying to figure out who gets.
Well, yeah, because they can't say children, because isn't that what he called all of his followers also?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I think he called them the family.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, they were the family. I don't think they were ever referred to as children, but I just thought it was funny that even in death, people
Charles Manson's still a dick.
It's kind of sad because people for the last, say, 50 years, people have made fortunes on him.
Oh yeah,
off of him, and it seems like it.
Everyone that was involved in his trial,
it just seems like even in death, they're still trying to suck pennies out of what he did and who he was.
And
he never got anything out of it.
Didn't the prosecutor write a couple of books?
Well, he wrote the book that the movie was based on.
Yeah.
He's written several books, but not about Charles Manson.
Oh, I thought he did.
But he wrote the definitive Helter Skelter book. He made a career off of it. I mean, he was a well-known attorney before that, but he did make his name off of that case. And I mean, and then of course I think last week Leslie Van Houten, she was granted parole by the parole board, but it had to go through the governor, and he denied it last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I mean,
good for him.
Murder's murder. Yeah. Doesn't matter how long it's been. I mean, there's still family members alive, and they all had their say. I don't understand why the parole board even went that far, but, I'm
really kind of surprised.
So, but yeah, the governor vetoed the parole. So she's going to die in prison, too.
Good. They all should.
Yeah. Well, there's only a few left. Susan Atkins died in 2000.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Was it 2010 she died?
I thought it was earlier than that.
And she wanted parole, mercy parole, or whatever it's called, compassionate parole, because she was dying of a brain tumor. Yeah. No, these are like, no, you're going to fucking die in prison.
Well, that's cool. Yeah,
and she was the one who actually murdered Sharon Tate. So physically stabbed her, I should say. So yeah, well, that was pretty funny.
Well, thanks for giving us a light note there, Ian.
Well, yeah, I guess they got a little dark near the end there, but I just think it's funny that like I said, Charles Manson is still
relevant.
Well, not relevant, but they're still sucking. They're still sucking the money out of his name. Yeah. That was like the big thing I came in with. I didn't, I saw that, and then, I saw today. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I mentioned it to you and Mandy. That post, which I'm still fascinated by, that they've created a micro generational name for our generation.
That's weird.
Anyone born from 77?
What did they call it?
Exennials. Exennials.
Are you serious?
That's what it said.
That just sounds dumb.
But I guess the thinking behind it makes sense. It's the idea that we were born at a time where we were still, when we were kids, we were exposed to the old ways of things, where there wasn't the technology and everything else. And then, but we were also, we were able to integrate into the tech side of it too.
Yeah.
So that we, we were kind of like that middle ground.
Yeah.
We're not baby boomers. We're not millennials. We're just right in between.
Thank God we're not either one of those.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, but we were part of Gen X. That's the thing.
That's why I still.
But that starts at like 69, I think.
Does it really?
69 or 70, yeah. Or maybe, between 69 and 71. And it goes to 84.
Yeah.
But that's what we were part of, I guess, before. But we're kind of even in between that. So, and that covers all of us, everyone in our social group, really.
Just leave shit how it is.
Well, I don't know why you need to label anything anyway. Why does it need a label?
Because nowadays everything needs a label.
I suppose. But
we had the silent generation was the last good generation we had. So
what generation was that?
The one that fought in World War II.
They were the silent generation?
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were the greatest generation.
I think they call them the silent generation.
Yeah, because they didn't ask for anything.
Yeah,
they just did their thing.
What they had to do.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, the baby boomers,
I might be wrong. Maybe it's not, but
I've always heard them referred to as the greatest generation. So
I don't know. What do you have anything else?
Oh,
before
just
we wrap it up,
I thought it was kind of funny. I thought I'd bring this up. I got into a little bit of a war of words with someone on Facebook the other day. She had posted an article that went into great detail about how the movie Pitch Perfect 3 is military propaganda designed to, I don't know, brainwash, recruit, whatever, young people. And I've seen the movie. There's nothing about it regardless. I mean, I guess if you look super deep into it, maybe.
Didn't you say that the only thing is they go on like a USO tour?
They go on a USO tour.
Because I haven't seen the movie. So
and there's one soldier that you see more than once, and that's it. There's really nothing military.
Does he say all children need to join the military?
No,
like over and over and over again,
fact,
while staring into the camera?
In fact, I think he might have 5 lines in the whole fucking movie.
Are they come join me?
No. No, not at all. And all I did was I just posted. I said, I'm kind of anti-military. I am. I'm not anti-troop. I'm just anti-military. I don't like
I'm anti-gigantic military
industrial complex.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just put out. I'm anti-military. I said I didn't find anything propagandist in the film, and for the next hour, she basically attacked me for not seeing it. First of all, then I said, okay, so you see it, but is it really an issue? Is it really something we need to be fighting about? Is Pitch Perfect 3 what we need to fight about?
Yeah.
And just nonstop, she's accusing me of moving goalposts on my principles, and
because that's one of the talking points that people throw out there to
moving. I know. Oh, she hits all the talking points.
Yeah.
Moving goalposts, straw man arguments, none of which I did.
Yeah.
I was just trying essentially to find common ground and point out that in a world where the Nassars of the world and the school shootings and everything else, when there's real problems, should we really be fucking worried about Pitch Perfect 3?
Yeah, exactly.
That, as I point out, nobody really went to see relative to the...
Did it do that bad in theaters?
It didn't do super bad, but it underperformed, especially considering the second one was like broke records for the type of movie it was.
Really?
I think it did like $100 million the first weekend.
Really?
Yeah, the second one.
That's crazy.
This one did
and
not.
I've never seen any of the 3 of them, so...
I like them. I like it for what they are. But, I like Anna Kendrick, so it helps. She makes me tingly. But, like I said, in the grand scheme of things, is this really what... And this is, by the way, this is on a political Facebook page. This is a page where people go to talk politics. I'm assuming she's leftist like me. She's left-leaning, probably far more than me. But
from what you've told me of the argument, it sounds like...
But ultimately, we're still essentially on the same side, to a degree.
Yeah.
Why are we fighting about how propagandist a movie about an a cappella singing group of girls is important when there's so many other fucking things we should be talking about?
See, and this kind of goes back to... I don't remember what episode we talked about this, and I made a comment about how the far right politically is just as bad as the far left.
Yeah, there's the extremes of both sides.
And this is a case in point.
Yeah, but see, this is where I was trying to get with her, to at least for her to understand to a point, was on the right. They're far more likely to fall into line with each other, whether they totally agree or not. At least on we'll say not necessarily the extreme, but just left of the extreme, what is essentially the Republican Party right now. They will sacrifice their own ideals to fall in line with party lines.
Yeah.
Far more than liberals will.
Well,
liberals always pick their own targets, and they don't give a shit, and they never... Yeah. There's never any cohesion, which is why they always fucking lose.
Yeah, it's the downfall of their...
Yeah, we're never going to have progressive politicians, progressive policies to counteract the far-right conservative policies until liberals can find common ground, and they're not.
You're never going to find common ground with someone like that you were talking to.
True, but I don't understand why I shouldn't be able to. Everything I wrote I was always polite. I mean, I can read what I wrote. I mean, she said that just in response to my first post, she said, "This is super basic propaganda." I said, "Perhaps. Maybe I wasn't looking that deep into a shallow film." I mean, that's probably like a jab, but
yeah.
I said, quite honestly, if the military-industrial complex needs to use Pitch Perfect 3 to recruit converts, they are in bad shape and really not a threat.
Yeah.
I don't want to play down the fact that we should be concerned and aware of what is out there, but let's face it, that particular work is really not something we should fear. And then, why shouldn't we fear, this is her, why shouldn't we fear teenagers being targeted by propaganda? They're not. That's like, it's kind of...
Yeah.
And then when I said I said perhaps, now I'm changing my side. I'm saying it is. I didn't say it was. I'm saying perhaps because you see that as it is.
Yes.
But it's not. It's not that bad. And she said also propaganda isn't just about recruitment. It's also about convincing people to defend the military and keep it funded. It's about nationalism.
Well,
and
no,
it's not. But
not.
I said I don't disagree. Nationalism is around us. I said go to any popular country star's concert, and nationalism is there in spades.
Yeah.
I said the Trump administration is in power mostly because of nationalism, because of the rise of nationalism. I'm just looking at degrees.
And had Bernie Sanders won, we could say the same thing. It's just a different kind of nationalism.
Right, true. But I said I'm just looking at degrees and influence. I think Pitch Perfect 3 is ultimately not the problem. And quite frankly, I don't think that the teen to 20-something audience of a Pitch Perfect film is going to start goose-stepping to the Star Spangled Banner because the main characters perform in a USO tour.
Yeah.
What we should be focused on is... my typing's a little bad here. What we should be focused on is the shit they see here and on other social media. Getting up in arms over Pitch Perfect when there are far more legitimate things to examine and challenge only makes our cause weak and inadequate. And now she's attacking me because I bring social media into it without citing specific things in social media that I'm referring to.
Everything in social media.
Yeah. And then that's where she says I'm moving goalposts. And she says, I first I say propaganda isn't there, then I say it is. I didn't. I was just being agreeable. I was saying, essentially, I see what you think you see.
Yeah.
I don't agree. And then she says my argument was derailing at that point.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what this makes you think of? I don't remember who said it. But I recently read a quote. It was something along the lines of, it's really hard to win an argument against a smart person. It's almost impossible to win one against someone who's stupid.
Yeah, I suppose. And that's kind of where it was getting so frustrating, but I lack that part of the brain that tells me to stop.
Yeah.
It's not like I took it too far. I was, like I said, what I've read essentially is how I wrote all the way down.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, when I got to the very end, I was almost ready to just like snap a little bit, and I had a response. Her very last thing that she said, and I was waiting for this, and I had a response because I knew, or at least I suspected, it was just going to be another one of what she said. Because I asked her, I said, "What do you suggest? What do we do if this is the problem? So give me a solution."
Yeah.
And she says, "Do we start by recognizing it?" Which you refused to do, and then reluctantly all the while changing the topic. And I was like, I'm done. But I wanted to say, you know what? You're right. When the nationalism that you're worried about takes over and the corporate states of the United States, corporate states of America, have the middle class basically reduced to a servile collection of people doing nothing but working just to feed them.
Yeah.
And all the homosexuals are thrown into conversion camps. All the atheists are thrown out of the country or murdered, and all the
you can throw them out of the country, be all right.
Thanks. All the minorities are subjugated again to where they were 100 and 200 years ago.
Yeah.
When all that's said and done, you're right. You'll be remembered as a hero because you took on Pitch Perfect 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what that was my last response, and I didn't write it, but I so wanted to, and it just at that point I was just like, I almost got the impression that she was just tired of fighting too, because that was the most...
Well, it didn't sound like she was fighting. It sounded like she kept regurgitating the same bullshit.
Well, essentially she was, but accusing me of doing the same thing. And whenever I tried to
because that's what people that don't have an argument do.
Well, and every time I tried to approach it from a different angle, I was accused of moving goalposts.
Yeah.
So, or again, she accused me of having straw man arguments because of the social media thing. I wasn't challenging social media. I was just saying there are worse things. There's more influence on Facebook than there is in a fucking 2-hour movie about singing.
There is.
So it was just funny. I've never had a situation like this. I've had conversations with people on Facebook that completely disagree with me. And one specifically, we went to school with him. I'm not going to name any names, but we went to school with him, and it's obvious he's a very kind of equal to me, but on the right. For the most part. And he posts some things and I've commented on them, and he's always been respectful in commenting back, and we've always had a very nice dialogue. We don't find any common ground necessarily, but we can have a discussion, share ideas, and at the end of the day that's all it is. This is the first time I've ever been challenged in an argumentative way. But then again, this Facebook group this is the first time I've ever commented on anything too on it, but there's been times.
Is there other stuff in there like that?
Well, it's kind of like that one that you belong to.
I belong to one that's just all batshit crazy.
Yeah,
I've had like seriously like 3.5 to 4 hour arguments with people on there. The Facebook group is Disdain for Reactionary Plebs. Don't ask me what a pleb is, but I've heard it before. I've heard it referred to. I don't know what it means, but I'm sure any millennial will probably tell you.
I'm sure. And I was referred to it by a millennial, and he's like, "Oh, this is political. You'll probably love it." And for the most part, I read everything on it. I just never commented before.
Yeah. And
I just didn't think that when I saw that, I was like, "Well, Pitch Perfect 3 it's not propaganda. It's not what you're calling it.
No.
It's not what the article calls it." And I wanted to voice that I disagreed with it.
I
didn't think it'd be an hour of my life arguing whether or not it was important.
Yeah. I've seen several movies over the course of the past, 10 years that I would classify as propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Pitch Perfect 3 would not be one of them.
No, it wouldn't. Trust me, it would not. I mean, I would. Well, you mentioned one earlier, American Sniper. That is propaganda for sure. And like I even said, I would almost see the first Transformers movie as more military propaganda than this movie, because there's more military in it. There's actual army soldiers in it. There's nothing in Pitch Perfect 3.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If anything, it's more propaganda for, I don't know, witty girls who sing? I don't know. Or girls who don't know their place in life and they're really trying to...
It's definitely not military propaganda.
It's not military propaganda.
Yes.
Thank you. So I just wanted to bring that up. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever done that. Maybe I'll do it more often. Maybe I'll talk about that on the Intakes on the Roll. I don't know, but it was funny as hell while it was after the fact, because I was getting frustrated while I was having the conversation. But after I was like, I'm reading through this thread and I'm like, what the fuck happened here? What is going on? Am I in the Twilight Zone here? Because this doesn't make any goddamn sense. How did it go this far?
Yeah, if you like arguments like that, you should join that group I'm on Facebook.
I almost want to now, because it's like...
Facebook is, I swear, it's the downfall of Western civilization.
It might be, but at least I got a little bit of fun out of it. Like I said, I was frustrating at the time, but after the fact, I can sit back and go, yeah, that was fun in a weird...
In a way, I get to waste a couple of hours kind of way.
Well, it was hours I would have wasted doing something else anyway.
Yeah, sure. Probably watching Alex Jones.
That's a waste of time, because I've tried. I can't watch that fucker.
That's
He
funny.
is insane.
I don't know.
I would rather watch hours and hours of Charles Manson. Charles Manson is actually saner than Alex Jones, or was.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the stuff I've seen of Alex Jones,
he's a lunatic.
He's a lunatic.
He's a lunatic.
I don't know. You got anything else to add, Ian?
I don't know. Not really. I'm sure we've been long-winded and gone on for a while.
We're not. We're about an hour, so it's we're about average.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Nothing.
I'm not average. I'm way below average. Damn it.
Good job shooting for the stars there, Ian.
Hey, you got to be realistic.
Whatever. Realistic's boring.
Yeah, I guess. Well, no. What it is you aim low and perform high. That way, people's expectations are always in check.
No. You have to have higher expectations.
Yeah.
And then
I'm talking about other people's expectations of me.
Oh, fuck other people's expectations.
Yeah, if I always aim low or present low but perform high, I always look good.
I always look good anyway, so.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who disagree with that statement.
On that note.
Yeah, that's about it, I guess.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, any questions or comments, you can email it to lifeingeneralmi@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter just to catch any new episodes as they come out. I swear I'm going to start posting more on that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
You do enough. I'm the one who's lazy when it comes to this stuff.
It's one of my New Year's resolutions. How about that? But yeah, check us out on Podbean and iTunes and all that. And check out our website, lifeingeneralpodcast.com, for every episode of our shows. And I don't know. Well,
hopefully, should we point out that there might be a hiccup in some of the time frame?
What do you mean?
Well, if my schedule changes, could there be a hiccup in our schedule?
I mean, yeah, Ian has a new job, so if his schedule changes, we might change. I don't know. If it affects the show, we'll say something. But. Yeah,
okay. I wasn't sure if we should say anything about it.
On a side note, a little housekeeping stuff that I probably should have said earlier, but I'm gonna attempt to put this out on YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll see how it works out though.
Yeah.
I'll post about it separately.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
It'd be cool if it is.
It might turn out to be a Charlie Foxtrot, and if it's that,
I don't know what the fuck that is.
A Charlie Foxtrot?
Yeah.
A CF? Clusterfuck?
Oh, I know what clusterfuck is. I don't know what Charlie Foxtrot is.
Yeah.
Is it Foxtrot what they say when they're getting ready to shoot missiles off the planes?
You say Charlie Foxtrot. It's the CF letters, just like Alpha and Delta and Beta and Bravo.
Those are Greek. Well, I don't know about Bravo, but
Bravo. Well, I mean, it's like
okay. They're code
Charlie,
words.
C is Charlie. I mean,
I get that. I get what it is. But I've never heard it put like that.
Yeah. Well. I
know you should have just said clusterfuck. I would have understood what that meant.
Oh, I know because I say Charlie Foxtrot, but it's more fun to say.
Okay. You say Foxtrot, I'm picturing the last Battle of Independence Day. Like, Foxtrot won, or whatever.
I'm thinking like wasn't that the one that danced in the 20s? Foxtrot?
I guess.
Oh, by
the
way, I looked up the silent generation before we on the show, and it was people born from the 20s to the mid 40s. So it would be World War I.
So leading up to the baby boomers. So that would be the World War II generation.
Yeah, so the last good generation.
Yep.
So, all right, well, that's it.
Yep.
Until next time.
Talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Play my role, let me tell you about it. This shit right here, man, I'm about it. Only real niggas reside around me. Yo, old lady, drop a guard around me. Dip like I know you can, bitch. Show me the ropes like we in the ring. Got you two cobras, you wanna hang. Shoulder to shoulder, them niggas basic. You know I won't lie. You know that I ain't for that fuck shit. You niggas alright, but I'm way better and she love it. Know that y'all sick as fuck. Here go this tissue, bruh. We taking the dub. Hoping you get you some. This hit like a pick me up. She taking my drugs. Now they see the sign. That's some dollar signs. Now they sick as fuck. Now they sick as fuck. Tell them get well soon. Tell them get well soon. Now you sick as fuck. Get well soon.
Oh shit. Watch out, you the car, Billy. Oh shit. Right now, and I'm smiling in your face, bitch. With a gold smile, you should probably make placement to your eye. Niggas sick as fuck. Standing with niggas who down for that party. Who down for some bitches who showing their bodies. Swear to God,